Welcome to BizTech's Enterprise Technology Show, the show where we feature technology companies operating globally in the enterprise space and sharing insights about their solutions, how they innovate, and how they make a difference to their customers' businesses. Now, today our conversation with Amir Sohrabi, the Regional Vice President and Head of Digital Transformation, Emerging EMEA and Asia at SAS. SAS was founded in 1976 and is the leader in business analytics software and services. Now, Amir, welcome to the show.
Brian, thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Now, Amir, could you start by giving us an overview of SAS and its history?
Well, as you know, SAS has been around for over 4 decades. We've always been the pioneer in the space of advanced analytics, and our entire mission is to help transform a world of data into intelligence for our customers to be able to leverage and create that into innovation to drive their organizations forward.
Now, could you give us an understanding of your footprint in the Middle East and Asia, which are your areas of responsibility?
Absolutely. Well, we have a pretty broad footprint. We're in all the major countries, all the way from Middle East, Africa, Turkey, all the way into Asia, covering Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, and obviously the rest of the Pacific Rim as well, including Korea, Japan, and then Australia as well. So we have got a pretty broad footprint in all the major economies.
And in terms of sectorial focus, where are you particularly strong in?
Well, I would say, look, we have a very strong footprint in the financial industry. That is, at the end of the day, the heart of the digital economy, I would say. We're also very strong in the telco space as well as the government space. So these are three core pillars that are very active for us. And in addition to that, as of recent months, a lot of activity in the retail and manufacturing as well in some specific areas where supply chain has become an acute challenge and an opportunity for our customers.
Okay, Amir, to help our audience understand what you do, could you share some customer success stories of how you've helped customers in various sectors achieve their business goals?
Absolutely. Let's start with the financial sector, where there is a lot of change that's being coming strongly through digital transformation. The financial sector, as I mentioned earlier, is the heart of the digital economy, which means it's transforming at a much faster pace as is catering to the new requirements. If we look at what's happening with digital banking as an example and the fintech revolution that's going on, that's bringing a lot of opportunities and risk at the same time to these customers that we have. In this space, we're very, very much active in the our risk platform, which is renowned for its accuracy, and also our fraud platforms. And one way we help these organizations manage their risk and fraud. On the flip side of the coin, our customer experience platform, where we help these same customers in the financial industry really be able to cater new services to their customers to become more intimate with their customers. So all the major banks within our regions are interacting with us in one way or another. If I look in the public sector area, we're doing a lot of amazing work for our customers. As an example, with Abu Dhabi Early Childhood Authority, where we're identifying families that need ahead of time to be able to make sure that the government provides the right type of resources for those mothers that have early kids that they're trying to raise. So we know that investing early in childhood will lower the burden for governments down the road. So we're very much active with the public sector in that area. And if I look at in the telco space, where really telcos are also driving a lot of transformation at the national level for a lot of customers and for a lot of countries. And here with the telcos, we're involved in the new business models that are coming to market on how they're engaging their clients for the future of work, if you will, and how AI is essentially being driven to the edge with leveraging our telco customers and how we're embedding our AI solutions into their solutions for the betterment of their clients as well. So that's a few examples of what we're doing with some of our customers across the region.
Amir, it's really interesting. Could you zoom in a little bit on how you're working with telcos to enable their customers to really embrace the future of work?
Absolutely. So one of the major areas we're looking at as more and more customers are driving towards digital transformation, how can they do more and how can they innovate more with the future of work? So embedding AI and analytics into your business is a critical part of that digital transformation journey. Telcos inherently are very much involved with businesses on different layers. And what we do is we work very closely with them into embedding our AI into the solutions that they're providing to their customers. A great example of that is what we're doing with Saudi Telecom, STC, as an example, one of our biggest customers within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we've been working actively with them in providing AI-enabled solutions to their clients, in essence, and then they're driving that value for their clients. So here we have an ecosystem play with the telcos, and those specific solutions then allow their customers to be able to leverage AI and advanced analytics to bring more innovation at the edge for the services that they like to provide, really impacting the future of work.
I mean, that's really interesting because traditionally we would associate SaaS with on-premise and large enterprise deployments. Obviously, you move to more cloud-based deployments as well, but still very large customers. But by partnering with these telcos, obviously they've got smaller SME type customers that you then that indirectly then use your solutions.
Absolutely, and that's how SaaS has evolved over the past 4 decades. If you look at the history of our company, it's been continued evolution as the markets has changed. And we see more and more that this is more of an ecosystem play. So definitely cloud is a huge part of our strategy. Partnering with big telco operators is one of those streams where we leverage the cloud first strategy to drive the best in practice software and services to our clients off the edge with leveraging our telco partners.
Now, Amir, with the last 2 years of the pandemic, we've seen a significant shift globally in how companies embrace digitization. Digital transformation was essentially forced upon many companies. What are the differences that you've observed in the Middle East versus, for example, in Asia?
Well, I think, look, it first comes down to, I don't think there's a choice. I think everybody realized that once the pandemic hit, that the pace of digitization needs to be accelerated. At first, it was about survival, just to make sure your organization survives to the next day. And then as the pandemic plateaued, it was all about not just surviving, but how do we thrive? How do we make sure we drive new services to our customers? And that's where we're very active with our customers in trying to make sure that they embed AI and advanced analytics in a part of their culture and as a part of their go-to market to create new services for their customers and to create a better environment for work as well for their employees, because that goes hand in hand. And that's the big change that we saw. Now, government policy also has a lot to do with the acceleration of that pace. And we see that both in the Middle East and ASEAN markets, that governments started to embrace digital transformation and cloud first strategy, because the cloud first strategy helps accelerate the pace of digitization. And if you're going to be a part of this global economy now, you just must be digitized and you must know how to leverage AI and advanced analytics to help drive that pace and to be able to continue to pull on the right level of talent to come into your organization. So all of these things are, I would say, compounded together to create this new inertia. So I would say there wasn't much of a difference, what I would say, between the Middle East and ASEAN countries. They both saw these as opportunities. Some governments instituted actual plans in place. So I would say Malaysia and Singapore, great examples how Malaysia put a plan in place and said, we're going to be the big data analytics hub of the region. And we're going to make sure we have programs in place that are bringing, first of all, the resources, and then putting policies in place that are going to help a cloud first strategy in place. And the same thing with Singapore government. They had a digital first initiative that went into play, again, making sure that that the workforce was ready and as well as the infrastructure was ready for cloud first initiative to be able to embrace AI and analytics to help drive digitization.
And so obviously these two examples are best practices in terms of governments who, as you said, just really embraced it. The challenge with even in those two markets is really reaching out to the SME space. What have you seen that that company or governments have done correctly in order to encourage that adoption? Because SMEs traditionally in these two markets that you've just mentioned have been reluctant or slow to embrace change until the pandemic.
Yeah, I think a lot of these are driven by market forces, and these market forces have seen that some SMEs have adapted very quickly and have been able to leverage digitization, leveraging AI and analytics. And we see these businesses soaring and taking off. So I don't see the government actually just being able to force the SMEs to do anything, but create the environment. So again, going back to the policies that are made in place, first of all, is the infrastructure ready and available? Are the regulations easy to leverage and to use? And then the most important thing, also the talent pool. We're talking about a finite talent pool right now when it comes to AI and analytics talent that's out there. And again, this is one thing that makes SAS very, very unique. We come from the background, and our heritage is coming from the education background. So we actually engage at the governmental level to make sure that we have the right type of courseware in place, the right type of training in place, the right type of mentoring in place to create the next generation of data scientists that are going to be required to drive these new engines of economy forward. So that's what makes us unique in our engagement with different types of governments across the entire region.
And what are you seeing in terms of the key trends moving forward in 2023 in your space? And what has SAS Labs got in the pipeline to take advantage of some of these trends?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, cloud first strategy. Cloud is going to provide flexibility to make sure that you can engage on your digital transformation journey by adopting at a much faster pace. And so with that, we see for the next 3 years, a 25% CAGR growth into cloud adoption when we look at the ASEAN market and the emerging EMEA market as well. So that growth is really growing at an exponential curve, and our revenues are tracking in that direction as well. So cloud is really a big focus for us. And what are we doing around that is our cloud native platform VIA that's out there is really making sure that our customers are able to leverage that cloud strategy, whether they're going to be cloud, hybrid cloud, or just have a on-premise and cloud strategy. We're going to be able to cater to our customers. That again makes us pretty unique because it allows our customers to have a stepwise approach towards cloud adoption, as many of them are big enterprises and they need to have a stepwise approach. For those who need to be cloud native right off the bat, that's what our platform allows them to do as well. So we have that level of flexibility that allows our customers to be able to leverage the benefits of AI and advanced analytics to enrich their business, to provide those new types of services to their customers.
Now, Amir, just to add to what you've just said, according to McKinsey and Company, and just as a benefit for our audience, 70% of companies using cloud plan to increase their cloud budgets. And the public cloud computing market is projected to grow to $800 billion by 2024. So we're talking about fundamental shifts here in terms of how companies are adopting the cloud.
Absolutely. And we see our customers. I mean, this is one of the top topics that we're always talking to them about, their cloud adoption rate and how quickly they're adopting. And a lot of that, again, comes back down to some of the regulations that are in place to particular countries and how quickly they're adopting. And I would say the big shift has been within the last 2 to 3 years. The governments have realized that this is not a nice to have, this is a must have to be able to actually participate actively in the global digital economy. If you don't have a robust digital cloud infrastructure, along with robust policies that help support and create that thriving innovation around that, then you'll essentially get left behind. So you see a lot of countries really adopting these policies at a much faster pace than they had before. And we think that's just going to open up and unlock a whole wealth of new possibilities for our regions.
You know, Amir, you touched upon several times during our interview so far the question of talent. And I want to zoom in on something that SAS has been very well known for in the tech industry, a very unique culture. So as far back as 2013, the Great Place to Work Institute named SAS as the world's best multinational workforce. And looking at your background, you've worked in SAS for many years, but you've actually left them and joined them twice. Share with us what makes this culture at SAS unique. And again, this is all around talent retention, and there's some lessons to be learned there.
Yeah, I think I have a very unique perspective when it comes to working at SAS. And like you said, having come back, rejoined SAS twice. Well, and I would say my personal journey, what continues to bring me back to SAS is meaningful work. I think when you do meaningful work, it's completely transformative for you as an individual, as a leader, and what you can do for your team member and your customers. And that's what we do at SAS. We touch lives. And my personal journey has been that. And when I've left to go to other companies, those have been great as well. But I felt like when I was at SAS, I was just doing more meaningful work, whether it was what we were doing at the public sector, and as an example with what we did with the Istanbul municipality and the Smart Cities initiative, the amazing work that we did to bring relief to traffic congestion into the largest city in Europe, or some of the great work that we've done with insurance companies, making sure that they can take care of their clients through tough times. That level of meaningful work really touched me at the personal level and always drew me back to SAS. And I would say that really comes back to our leadership as well. When we say we want to do something positive for our communities, that's what we mean by that. So that's what we continue to help foster within our culture at SAS, and make sure that we can retain our talent with the meaningful work that we do for our communities and our partners across.
And using your term that you mentioned a couple of times, meaningful work, what key nuggets of advice could you give our audience about how companies can build a great culture, especially at a time where there's tremendous war of talent? So meaningful work obviously has to be one of them. What other nuggets could you share with us that will help our audience?
Sure, absolutely. I would say authentic leadership, being humble. It's impossible to know it all, but you have to be humble at a leadership perspective to be able to understand and to listen to different points of view, because things are changing so fast, so quickly. And we at SAS are humble enough to always listen inside and listen to outside. And that's how we continue to evolve and grow. So that's what builds a strong bond, a strong culture. We live at a time right now that it's very volatile, very, very uncertain all the time for our customers, for our partners. So we need to make sure that we're in listening mode all the time. And we listen more than we just talk. So that's very, very important. That's a level of humility that you need to bring to the table all the time. We always try to share our perspective very openly with our partners, our customers, and our team members. At the same time, we try to make sure that we take notes. We're not right all the time, but we make notes and we make ourselves better over time. And that brings consistency. I think the other thing, one is authenticity, the other one is consistency. Be consistent with your messages, how you drive the business, how you engage your partners, how you engage your clients and your team members. That consistency is what folks look for in volatile times. And I think we at SAS, for over 4 decades, we've been consistent in the message that we bring to the table. We want to make the world a better place by leveraging AI and analytics for better decision making, for better humanity as a whole. And we're consistent with that message. And that's what I think those are some of the words of advice that I would have, in my humble opinion.
Amir, it's been a fascinating conversation, but before we leave, any final words that you'd like to leave us with?
Yes, these are amazing times that we're living in. I choose to believe, and we believe at SAS, that we live in a world of abundance. Although there's a lot of uncertainty around us and we hear a lot of negative news, we need to look at the positive sides of things. We have never had more food in this world. Education is peaking and cloud is helping drive that. When you look at what cloud is doing for education, it's equalizing the world. People who didn't have access to the level of education 10 years ago have that access now. That level of education, as it increases, it brings more IQ onto the table and enhances our EQ as a humanity. So we'll be able to crack problems that much faster and make the world a better place. So when I look at it, there is a lot of positive things that's happening. We need to make sure that we emphasize that positiveness with our youth, engage our youth into what we're doing, and also reverse mentor and learn from them as well, because the world is definitely a better place and it's going to continue to become better by embedding the type of technologies that we're leveraging.
Amir, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
Brian, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
I'm Brian Fernandez, and I've been speaking to Amir Sohrabi, the Regional Vice President and Head of Digital Transformation at Emerging EMEA and Asia at SAS on BizTech's Enterprise Technology Show. This video and podcast will be on our various social media platforms, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.